You know, people, every once in a while, a movie comes along that completely mindfucks you. Today's film is no exception, and it pissed me off beyond belief. I am, of course, talking about the straight-to-video terror that is Hellraiser Inferno. As I stated before in my last Hellraiser review, Bloodline was the ending of the series in a chronological sense, meaning they could have had more sequels that take place between the middle and ending of Bloodline. And this is where the straight-to-video trash comes into play. You know, at first when this movie was, in the process of being made, it was originally supposed to be a completely different horror film. Or was that 7 or 8? Oh well, who cares? Until some asshole came along and thought, you know what? Let's make this a Hellraiser movie. I know they already ended the series with Bloodline, but who cares? Oh, and I'm not being sarcastic at all. That's really what happened. They did that, they merged the two films together. Oh, and you know what else they did? They cut out Doug Bradley as Pinhead. Almost entirely. He's in maybe about 5 minutes of the entire movie. No, wait a second. He's in even less. He's in 3 minutes of the movie. Why would you cut out the big name of your franchise like that? That is insulting, and it just makes the film even worse. So with Pinhead not being in the movie that much, then what is it going to be about, and who is going to star in it? Well, in this movie, our main hero is named Joseph Thorne, played by Craig Schaefer. Do you want to know what he does? Well, I was going to use this bit for the opening to this guy's eventual TV show, because he is such a great and well thought out character. I mean, he was just so memorable. But I guess I could use it now.
Meet Detective Joseph Thorne. He's a cop who doesn't do things by the book. He willingly cheats on his wife, does massive amounts of cocaine, and goes on some pretty wacky adventures. He murders prostitutes, steals money, and has psychological problems. But that's not even the wackiest part. Joseph is an expert on puzzles, but his puzzle-solving skills get him into trouble as he accidentally opens up the llama configuration. Watch as hell gets unleashed as Joseph tries to stop a killer named the Engineer who leaves the fingers of his victims at every crime scene.
It's a child's finger.
Embark on this journey that makes no sense whatsoever. Also starring John Turturro's unpopular brother, whatever the hell this is, featuring an old guy with a fucked up face, and Doug Bradley as Pinhead. Craig Schaefer, Super Cop, this series. Coming never, because nobody liked this fucking movie.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad if it were real, right? Well, that actually happens in the movie, so I'm sorry ahead of time.
So yeah, this movie is terrible as I stated before. The biggest problem with this movie is that our main character is a horrible person. There is absolutely no likability to this character whatsoever. I can't stand watching him.
When your movie's main character has no likability whatsoever, then why get into his story? Who cares if he fails or not, so why should I even give a shit?
Okay then, well, let's look at some of the other problems with this movie. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. We don't even know if this is all a dream, hell, or if it's the drugs that he's on. The movie constantly switches around way too much.
Now, if that were done right, then it could be kinda cool. But in this movie, it's extremely annoying. And after watching it, I don't even know what's real anymore. All the logical thinking in my mind has been completely wiped out from start to finish. Is this real? Is that real? I don't know. Thank you a lot, Hellraiser Inferno. Thank you so much.
Also, there are just so many bizarre things that are in this movie. Like, why are there ninja cowboys that just come out of nowhere? But I think the real confusing part is, why the fuck aren't I watching a movie about ninja cowboys instead of this?
That sounds way more entertaining than any of this crap.
So, throughout the movie, Joseph is trying to find this killer known as the Engineer, a killer who leaves the fingers of the kids he murders at every one of his crime scenes. After some heavy investigating and a 20-second cameo from Pinhead, Joseph eventually comes across the killer.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Seriously, movie, you made that joke far too easy for me.
So Joseph finally comes across the Engineer, who reveals himself to be, Joseph. Now, I will give this movie a little credit for a decent twist, but then again, why should I believe this? The whole movie has been one big mindfuck that has no logical reasoning whatsoever.
So what makes this so definitive? I guess since Pinhead tells him that because of his sins throughout life that he is trapped in his own personal hell, okay, I guess that because of that reason he must be in hell. But then the movie shows him okay in the next scene, I guess saying that it was all a bad dream.
What the fuck, movie? I mean, you should have just ended on that high note, because we all know you're going to continue with the typical horror bullshit as always.
Detective Thorne.
It's Tom and Daphne. And the girl you were with last night. Please, I'm still at the motel. Oh my god. Oh god.
What's the matter, Joe? You okay? What's the matter? Joe! No! Don't do that!
Okay, now is the movie over with?
Oh, fuck you, movie. Fuck you.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
I swear, this movie must be bipolar. It doesn't follow through with anything. Oh well, let's just see how it ends.
I've confronted my own demons. And now the only thing I know for certain is that I will live with them forever.
Okay, okay. I'll admit it, that was the best no I've ever heard. This needs to replace the Darth Vader no. You know how people always mock like moments and they always go, no! But this, no! Was so ridiculous and so hilarious that it's pretty much wonderful. This is the best no I've ever heard. And what a way to end your movie. Like seriously, what a way.
This movie is on all accounts terrible. It's a horrible movie. I mean, Pinhead is only in it for about 3 minutes and barely does anything to help it. This movie makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Our main character is horrible, and the film doesn't even feel like a Hellraiser movie. The only decent things in this movie are the music. Some of Schaefer's acting is kind of funny at times, and it does include the best no moment of all time. So overall, it's still terrible.
That one hurt me a lot, people. It hurt a lot. You have no idea how much pain I went through after watching this movie. But I'm afraid to say this, but it's probably not the worst, but it's actually probably the best of the worst. As talking about the straight-to-video Hellraiser movies, they just keep getting worse and worse and worse from here on out. I'm afraid because the next review is on the worst of the worst. Hellraiser Hellseeker. I don't know how I'm going to survive this, but I'm going to let you all go along for the ride and suffer with me. Because I'm a cruel person, and whoever made that movie is an even crueler person. Alright, talk to you all later, and I'll see you on the next Hellraiser review.
Welcome to hell.